Welcome back. Now, the inaugural Gauteng Investment Conference kicked off today. More than 312 billion rands in investment pledges have been unveiled, surpassing the 300 billion rand investment target. Now, this conference aims to secure new investment commitments and foster stakeholder collaboration. On the conference's sidelines, I caught up with Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, unpacking the role Gauteng plays in the continental economy.
Indeed, we are the heartbeat. I mean, if you look at the industrial infrastructure in the whole continent, there is no country that comes close to what we have just in our eastern corridor, which is the city of Ekurhuleni. We are contributing 33.2% into the GDP of the province, of the country, and we are the 7th largest, meaning if we were a country, we will be the 7th largest economy. That's how big. I mean, just over 40% of industrial activities are taking place here in Gauteng. In every 10 people who are employed, at least 4 are here in Gauteng. The road infrastructure is good. We've got rail, we've got other forms of transport. I mean, we are the only province that has got at least 18 airports. And I think the well-known are 3, but otherwise there's a lot. So it just shows you the kind of capacity we have. It's huge, it's enormous. Our concern is that we have not been doing enough in the last few years to harness that capacity and use it to our advantage as a province and for the country, because our economy is not isolated from that of the country. It's also tied to that of the continent, and that's why you can't speak about Gauteng economy and not refer to South Africa, to the continent, and of course the world.
Now let's talk about, the investments and pledges that were made today. Gauteng really being a melting pot of economic activity. You spoke to us today and you said we've exceeded the target, the 300 billion rand target, and I think you've received 312.5 billion rands in pledges. Talk to me about the industries that are likely to benefit from that.
Well, they are diversified, as we have said earlier on, and that's truly a reflection of the structure and character of the Gauteng economy. You've got people in infrastructure, in energy, in transport, including in aviation, by the way, development of human settlement. So it's diversified. And that's why it's exciting, because it also fits well with our plans of consolidating and then growing the Gauteng economy. We were deliberate when we were saying we want to raise between 800 billion in the next 3 to 5 years. It's not just a number. If you look at the size of the Gauteng economy, it's about 1.1 trillion plus. So 800 billion is almost double that number. Yeah. We want to contribute to the target of South Africa reaching $1 trillion size. So for that to happen, Gauteng has to have an appreciation, firstly, and comprehend the magnitude of the task at hand, and be prepared, be ready, be bold, and be decisive. But most importantly, you have to be structured, you must be organized, you must be focused, you must be systematic in how you execute that. That's why when we spoke about our economic development plan, the elements which includes the sectors that we'll focus on. One, the different corridors and what those corridors must do, issues of skills development, issues of energy security, water security, dealing with the what the Premier calls the 13 problems of Gauteng, which includes fighting crime, amongst others, and all that. So firstly, we've got a plan, and that plan will help us to organize ourselves and organize every sector. And we want to get to a level where we engage with firms and we are able to impact the economy at the micro level, starting at the level of a firm. That's why we will have a sectoral and industrial, different industries working group, which will comprise of business, the academia, ourselves, and then we set targets for every sector and timelines, and we are able to work in that structured way. And we are confident that we can make it, because those who came before us, and that's where we draw inspiration from, have made it. That's why today you've got the kind of infrastructure you have. That's why you've got Gauteng, with the only province with it, despite the fact that it's not a provincial competence. But those who came before us believed that a province like ours needs a Gauteng. A province like ours must have a freeway improvement scheme, what is known as, popularly known as e-tolls, which is the first phase. There's a second phase and the third phase. We have to execute the second phase and the third phase successfully, because if we want to unlock the economy, it must be easy for goods and people to move. And that's why we are also saying the rail between Tshwane and Gqeberha, that must be able to help us with the automotive industries to expand the rail anyway. The line is there. That project is on track. We met with Transnet today. We'll have a follow-up with them next week. It's a 5 billion rand investment. Then you've got the Pretoria to Limpopo rail, which is another big one that we will certainly want to see it reaching up to Musina, so that it unlocks all those neighboring countries and all that. So our vision is short, medium, and long term. Some of the benefits will be accrued, I think, after we will be doing other things and won't be here. So we're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for the province and the future of this country.
You know, you talk about these grand projects that will unlock economic growth for the Gauteng province and the country at large. Talk to me about, you know, how the man on the ground is set to benefit things like job opportunities. We also have the SMMEs, small businesses, that are also the hard line of the economy.
I think your question is very important, because these pledges and these big projects are meaningless unless we are able to translate them from pronouncements to practical projects which are located on the ground, as you say, the person on the ground. Because remember, these projects, as I was articulating, I spoke about the geographical location. That's the first thing. I also spoke about the different sectors to demonstrate that this is not a pie in the sky. We're not just talking for its own sake. It's based on the strength of the different geographical locations of our province and all that. So once we execute with precision these projects and we translate them rather the pledges and the intentions, we translate them into implementable, tangible projects. The men on the ground and the women on the ground will get jobs. Those who are running businesses will be able to participate there. And that's why entrepreneurship is at the center, and it's very important to ensure that we build that entrenched culture of entrepreneurship so that entrepreneurs can build businesses, run businesses, and employ those who are looking for jobs.
That was Lebogang Maile, Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development.